Let's explore the
Welcome to another
mechanics behind
fantastic
these
episode.
man-made
Watch
marvels.
to the end and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.
Before we dive into the details, let me get you up to speed with the concise background history of underwater cable and its evolution over time. Almost 2 centuries back, 2 battleships met in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, connecting with the European and North American continents by telegraph with nearly 4,000 kilometers long cable. Upon successfully connecting the cables, Queen Victoria from the UK sent a message congratulating the US President James Buchanan. This message took around 17 hours to deliver by Morse code, with every letter sent at the speed of 2 minutes and 5 seconds. These cables operated for no more than a month due to different technical failures, but they initiated a global communications revolution after 2 decades of hard work and effort. At the end of the 19th century, new cables were introduced with the ability to transmit more than 40 words per minute. In 1956, the first underwater telephone cable, TAT-1, was laid. And by 1988, the TAT-8 was already transmitting data at speeds of over 280 megabits per second via fiber optics. Around 2018, the Maria cable started operating between Spain, Bilbao, and the US state of Virginia, with an insane transmission speed of over 160 terabits per second, which is up to 16 million times faster than our average internet connection at home. As of 2023, over 380 underwater cables are operating around the world, with a total length of up to 1.2 million kilometers. That's an insane amount of length for a cable operating under the water. So, how do fiber optic cables work undersea? A submarine communication cable lying at the bottom of the ocean connects almost all countries around the world. These cables are very helpful in transferring a large amount of data in a very short amount of time. But how exactly does it transfer data at such a super fast speed? Well, first, it increases the speed of the data, and that data can be anything. Then it converts the data into light. After that, the light is transported through fiber optic cables. And just when it is about to reach the desired destination, the light converts back to the actual file. The perfect example of a fiber optic cable is Maria, a 4,000-mile long cable system created by Facebook, Microsoft, and Teluxi that goes along the Atlantic Ocean, connecting the United States to Southern Europe. This project was completed back in 2017 and operates between Virginia Beach, Virginia, and Bilbao, Spain. The aim of the Maria project is to enhance global internet infrastructure and increase the capacity for data transfer between the 2 continents. The cable system itself comprises state-of-the-art fiber optic technology, enabling the transmission of a large amount of data at incredibly high speed. The undersea cables play a key role in the global information infrastructure. It is used by governments, small and big enterprises, and even individuals for a variety of purposes, which mainly include internet, data communications, and phones. A large portion of people still think that the Wi-Fi they use or data plans on their mobile phones come from above the sky. In reality, these systems are also linked up with these fiber optic cables that carry the information across the globe. These cables utilize the dense wavelength division multiplexing technology that enables them to send a large amount of data with multiple streams and wavelengths on a single optical fiber. The mechanics behind this process are very sophisticated, and it took many years to bring it to this level. Among all these intricacies, laying this 1,000-kilometer-long cable is the most challenging process. It is, in fact, a years-long process and costs millions of dollars. The process begins by plotting the best route from naval charts. Meanwhile, they also send vessels to map the seafloor so that they can avoid areas with possible dangers, like volcanic regions and places with a lot of elevation on the seafloor. Things get challenging when they get closer to shore. They must armor the cables heavily as they reach the landing station that connects with their country's internet backbone. Once they're done plotting the route and the shore connections are secure, big cable-laying ships begin passing out the equipment. Shockingly, these vessels stay at sea for months and even years while the process of laying the cables is completed. And of course, that comes with a big budget. Once the cables are loaded on the ships begin to lay the cables starting from the shore and extending across the ocean floor to the intended endpoint. These particular ships pull a kind of plow that can dig the trench for the cables and lay them simultaneously. This process involves a lot of details, and the route that the ship will take may contain certain obstacles like undersea mountains, rocks, coral reefs, and fault lines. These are all the major obstacles that are taken into consideration, so they often look for areas where the cables can be installed safely. Now, the real question is, why do we use such an ultra-sophisticated process rather than using satellite or some other kind of land method for transferring data across global distances? The major problem is the overflow of information if they are trying to use satellite instead. With all the old and new data, the flow of information becomes too much for satellites to handle. Additionally, the process also gets costly, as sending such an enormous amount of data through satellite can cost billions of dollars per line and can contain loss of signals during the transfer. And talking of cost and data flow, cables can transfer far more data than satellites at far less cost. One of the other reasons why they have laid cables in the ocean is because a deep, flat water surface is the safest place where the cables won't encounter any challenges during the process. By the way, have you ever thought about what these cables are made of, that they can carry such a huge amount of data in just the blink of an eye? Actually, these are not just ordinary cables. These cables send light signals through fiber optics with lasers shooting from one end to the other at an extreme rate. But this whole process is done by certain very small and thin glass fibers with a similar diameter to a piece of hair, covered with many layers of protection. In fact, the majority of the cables lying at the bottom of the ocean are not bigger than the size of a garden hose. As the world is entering into a new era of digitalization, the necessity for fiber optic submarine cables is also increasing. New projects are underway for installing these cables to connect the remaining parts of the world. And now, with 5G on the horizon, every country wants to participate in the internet revolution that brings new applications and advancement in every aspect of human life. All in all, undersea cables play a major role in our digital age. Due to these cables, we are able to connect and communicate with each other globally. As technology continues to evolve, these cables will become more vital in keeping the world connected, linking the continents, and enabling data exchange across oceans. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end. If you found this video informative and fun, show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Catch you on the flip side.